Welcome everyone to another episode of Miami Cop Talk. I am Raul. With me is co-host Robert Asensio. We have another legislative briefing with Dr. Nancy Lawther. Before we get started, Robert, you have a few words to say to our listeners?
No, we're going into, this is episode 14, part 2, part 5 of Dr. Nancy Lawther's legislative brief. I'm really looking forward to hearing what's going to happen this week in the 5th week of the Florida legislative session 2021 year. We know that the budget the House and the Senate will be shoring up their budget proposals. I believe there's a $2 billion difference between the House and the Senate's budget. I suspect that some of those dollars or some of those reconciliation of accounts will come out of these public safety, but I can't wait to hear what Nancy's got to say. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning from Tallahassee. And it's delightful to be up here. This is the beginning of the 5th week of the legislative session, which will end on April 30th. So basically now is the beginning of crunch time. There are already some of the bills that we have already discussed that have passed their respective chamber, either the House or the Senate. And like Noah's Ark, bills are supposed to go in 2 by 2, a House version and a Senate version. And so we've got one of the couple on board for some of these bills and are waiting for the second half of the couple. The first bill that has already passed, it passed the House, 76 votes to 39 votes, is House Bill 1, Combating Public Disorder, by Representative Fernandez-Barquin of Miami-Dade County, House District 119. And it has a Senate companion that has yet to be heard. So there is talk of potentially from another committee, a committee bill being proposed to be the companion of House Bill 1. And because it's number 1, it was a gubernatorial priority, but the current Senate companion is stalled. So maybe another bill will be proposed to serve as a match. The next bill that is actually passed 39-0, no opposition, is a bill that we discussed, Senate Bill 44, drones. And there are a number of companion bills, Senate Bill 518, Senator Diaz, also drones, House Bill 1049, Representative Gia Lombardo, also about drones, House Bill 433, Representative Andrade, also drones, and therefore we do anticipate that there will be a number of drone bills that do make it to the finish line. Safety of religious institutions, House Bill 259 by Representatives Williamson and prime co-sponsor Representative Byrd, passed 76-37 votes, and its companion in Senate Bill 498, Senator Gruters, is in its 3rd and final committee. So we are expecting this bill to go forward, to be passed, to enter Noah's Ark. In essence, this is the bill that would permit concealed carry permit holders to carry weapons on the grounds of a religious institution, whether or not it had a school at the same time or not. So that's been proposed for several years. This year, it does look as though it's going to pass. One bill that has passed as well, 39-0 in the Senate, is a bill that we have not yet discussed, Senate Bill 234, Registration of Sexual Predators and Sexual Offenders by Senator Book. The companion bill, House Bill 193, Representative Clemens, in its 3rd and final committee. This is a bill that originated out of a case in the Tampa Bay area where someone who had served his complete term as a sexual predator had preyed upon an 8-year-old and 11-year-old in Tampa Bay, nonetheless argued and won his case that he should not have to register as a sexual offender because he had not completed the full term of his sentence, which involved the payment of a fine. And so because he had not paid the fine yet, he had not completed all the terms of sentence, he did not register. And as Senator Book pointed out, that meant that he could live anywhere without registration. So this bill closes that loophole, and it is no surprise that it passed the Senate 39-0, and the House bill has encountered no difficulty. Another bill that has passed already the Senate 40-0 is use of electronic databases by Senator Hooper. The House companion, House Bill 1541, Representative Trudeau, who is a freshman. This involves the database held by the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles that involves personal information relating to drivers and vehicles. And this would prohibit the unauthorized sharing of such information. It's a misdemeanor. It would be a misdemeanor punishable with a fine up to $2,000. And then also to be included as an element for the training of law enforcement officers, both the initial training and the continued employment training. So this is a bill we have not discussed before, but as you see, 40-0, it has no opposition, and must also have arisen from a case where personal information was shared where it should not have been shared. Let me also go into a couple of bills that are very close to the finish line. Senate Bill 388, for all of those who are dog lovers. This is the Injured Police Canines Bill. Senator Wright, which is on second reading on the House floor, meaning it will be scheduled for final passage shortly. House Bill 697, Representative Killebrew, in its third and final committee. So these are bills that relate to the possibility of emergency personnel in the absence of any human victim, if it is an active duty situation, being able to treat an injured police canine. The next bill that is very close to the finish line, House Bill 67, Public Defender Duties, Representative Fernandez Barquin. It's on the special order calendar of the House, meaning it is actually scheduled now for a final hearing and a vote. And the Senate companion, Senate Bill 752, Senator Gruters on second reading, passed all committees, ready really for a vote. This deals with the situation where a defendant requests a public defender, but that defendant has also requested representation by a private attorney. And this would prohibit a public defender from being assigned to a case in which a private attorney has already been engaged. So suggesting that if they engage a private attorney, they're not indigent and therefore are not qualified to receive public defender services. Another bill that is very close to the finish line is Juvenile Diversion Program Expunction. It is on second reading in the House, House Bill 93, Representative David Smith, and the Senate companion by Senator Perry, Senate Bill 274, in its third and final committee. This deals with juvenile offenders who, instead of undergoing any kind of incarceration, complete a diversion program and complete that program. And this therefore allows the expunction of any record of this from all public access. So this would be expungement. It's not faced any opposition. And the final bill that I'm going to go into also arises from a very famous case that you might remember from 2019. There was an Orlando 6-year-old who was arrested at her public school, and she was protesting against being arrested. She had created quite a fervor previously at the time of the arrest. However, she had calmed down. She was 6 years old, and so this has been brought into the legislative arena as the Kaya Roll Act, and the official title, House Bill 203, minimum age for arrest or prosecution. Representative Williams in its second and final committee, and the Senate companion has a different title, Juvenile Justice, Senate Bill 626 on second reading. It is Senator Bracey's bill, and that would basically forbid the arrest of any minor under the age of 7. So these are all bills that either at the beginning, those that have already passed one chamber, and then the last bills that I've gone over, bills that are very close to a final decision and are very likely to pass. And the agendas this week in many committees are absolutely packed. They are trying to finish as much of the policy that they can in advance of consideration of the budget. And there has been some controversy about the criminal justice budget in terms of the closing of several prisons. There was controversy in the Senate Criminal Justice Committee with respect to the appropriations. And we will see. As Robert mentioned, the Senate and the House are not necessarily very close in their appropriations. Some of this is technical, but some is policy. So I think they are anticipating after this week and potentially next week, concentrating for the most part on budget. So my next update will include a lot of items that are pertinent to the budget as some of these controversies play out. So
Excellent.
that's the brief report from Tallahassee this week, week 5, and everything is over technically April 30th.
Excellent, Nancy. Thank you very much. And we want to make sure that all our listeners go to our website, miamicoptalk.com. They can get all the information they need on our website again, miamicoptalk.com. They can email us at 305@miamicoptalk.com. And a lot of what you are providing us will be posted on our website. But before we end this this briefing, I want to thank you for all that information, because it really does make a difference, because this is a government by the people, for the people. People don't realize if they don't get involved or educated on what's going on in their state and local government, politicians are making rules and laws and things that affect us all. And if they don't know, shame on them. So it's a participatory type of system. We must get involved. But I wanted to ask you before we start signing off, there's a Senate bill and a House bill, 640 and House Bill 809, prosecuting children as adults.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that?
This is an effort that's been ongoing for several years, and there have been questions of direct file where prosecutorial discretion will allow a child to be charged as an adult as opposed to a juvenile. And this has been controversial. Being charged as an adult has consequences that impact a juvenile in significantly more serious ways. So this procedure is being re-examined. There is a great deal of legislation this year with respect to juvenile justice reform, as well as to criminal justice reform as a whole. This year, there are certain bills that I've already mentioned, the expunction, that look very sure to pass. They did not look that certain in previous years. I am not sure that the direct file will actually succeed. It's probably going to come closer this year than it has in previous years, but I think that will depend whether it makes it all the way across the finish line in both chambers, will depend, in fact, on whether or not the budget controversies start to overweigh the policy decisions. So I will have an update on that next week to see exactly how far that legislation and other similar legislation, several bills were actually filed on that very topic. So I'll have an update next week to see if they have gone any farther and as far as what their prospects might be. With, at that point, 4 weeks left in the session, and subcommittees are going to stop meeting very shortly. So if it's not all the way through the subcommittees, a bill will not advance this year.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you, Nancy. That's a very thorough report. Exactly what I hope our audience will be, will benefit our audience. But before we go, I wanted to do a shout out, recognize the fact that you are with New Era Alliances. That's neweraalliances.com. If anyone wants to gain more information about Nancy, her background, extensive background, and capacity in providing this information, please go there. She has a rather impressive background. I also want to thank Miami Tactical, very, very unique niche service provider and training for those in law enforcement and those in private sector on public safety. Raul, you're a principal there, and I can't thank you enough for starting that company. Also, I wanted to do a shout out to Miami
Mainland
Marlins. There we go. Whoa,
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. It's my backup. And then also to Share Your Heart, as well as the Miami Community Newspapers, who have been collaborating on this venture as we move forward. Having said that, I don't have anything else. Thank you, Raul. Why don't you close it out for us?
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. Go to our podcast, go to our website, miamicoptalk.com. We're on all social media platforms. Again, we would appreciate your support. Reach out to us if you have suggestions, if you have any comments, feedback. Again, miamicoptalk.com, and the email is 305@miamicoptalk.com. So listen in, tell us what you think, and give me your opinion on my glasses if you're watching us on our YouTube channel or on our IGTV. So stay safe, enjoy your spring break, and until next time.